Doge. 21 employees now resigning, saying they refuse to help Elon Musk's efforts to slash the federal government.
Well, Chris, that letter was signed by, as you said, 21 federal workers, civil servants who worked in the Doge office, both in the previous version, the one that launched under President Obama, and the current version that was renamed by President Trump. That letter you see on your screen here, addressed to Susie Wiles, the White House chief of staff, by these employees who said that they were tendering their resignation today. A couple of lines I think worth pulling out here for you to highlight their concerns in giving this resignation. They said Doge's actions, firing technical experts, mishandling sensitive data, and breaking critical systems contradict their stated mission of modernizing federal technology and software to maximize government efficiency and productivity. One other part of this letter that I, again, think is worth drawing attention to, where it says, "We will not use our skills as technologists to compromise core government systems, jeopardize Americans' sensitive data, or dismantle critical public services. We will not lend our expertise to carry out or legitimize Doge's actions." They're really expressing some of the concerns that we've heard from others who filed lawsuit against some of the actions that Doge has been taking in the different agencies around the federal government, where some of those employees have been active over the last month since President Trump took office here.
A setback for Doge.
United States economy will collapse during Trump presidency in 2025. Banks close without warning. ATMs stop working. Money loses value overnight. People's savings disappear. Stock market collapse. Long lines at grocery stores. Gas stations run dry. Empty store shelves. People lose jobs suddenly. Neighborhoods go dark. Rich people flee the country. Houses get abandoned. Factories shut down. Hospitals struggle. Cities become poor. Shopping malls become shelters. Fancy houses stand empty. Gold teeth become valuable. People trade shoes for food. Old money becomes toilet paper. People sleep in cars. Families split up. Communities collapse. Violence spreads. Kids forget about school. Parents lose their jobs. But people share what they have. Kids help old folks. Gardens grow in empty lots. Communities stick together. Hope stays alive in small ways. What do you think? Tell in comments. Most people get...
I think the way to think of me is like I'm a technologist, and I try to make technologies that improve the world and make life better.
Shirt.
Yeah, and that's why my T-shirt says tech support, because I'm here to provide the president with technology support. And now that may seem like, well, is that a silly thing? But actually, it's a very important thing, because the president will make these executive orders, which are very sensible and good for the country, but then they don't get implemented. If you take, for example, all the funding for the migrant hotels, the president issued an executive order where, hey, we need to stop taking taxpayer money and paying for luxury hotels for illegal immigrants, which makes no sense. Like, so obviously, people do not want their tax dollars going to fund high-end hotels for illegals, and yet they were still doing that even as late as last week. And so, we went in there and we're like, hey, this is in violation of the presidential executive order. It needs to stop. So what we're doing here is one of the biggest functions of the Doge team is just making sure that the presidential executive orders are actually carried out.
The Simpsons may have predicted it. Donald Trump gives every U.S. citizen a $5,000 stimulus check from Doge profit. Phones buzz with money alerts, and people rush to spend. Stores fill up, malls overflow, and restaurants are packed. Many quit their jobs, buy cars, book vacations, and splurge on expensive gadgets. Trump posts Doge memes and social media goes wild. The streets turn into one big celebration with music, dancing, and non-stop shopping. Some invest wisely while others spend recklessly. Prices shoot up and stores run out of stock. It feels like a dream, but how long can it last? What would you do with $5,000?
Fuck off.
That's it.
If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Fuck off.
That's it.
Directly to Elon.
On your first day in law school, in constitutional law, the very first day, they explain to you that the federal courts determine what is constitutional. Not the Congress, not the president. Now, the president this week and Elon Musk and J.D. Vance, they're very unhappy that that's the way our founding fathers constructed the Constitution. And so on birthright citizenship, they've now been blocked. On freezing all federal funds, they've now been blocked. On cutting NIH funding, they've been blocked. On getting into all of the information about every American at the Department of Treasury, violating privacy rights of all Americans, they've been blocked. So they're very unhappy. But they're unhappy because they don't like the Constitution. They don't like the checks and balances. They don't like the system that was constructed to make sure that we did not have a king. We did not have a dictator. But we had, in fact, a system that ensured that all of these constitutional rights would be protected. And so right now, they're stymied for the time being, but ultimately we know what the plot is. The plot is to get into Medicare, to get into Medicaid, to get into all of the Department of Education funding programs.